Hello everyone, happiest my dear ladies and gentlemen. As you know, we are almost embarking the third term in academic journey. In a special way, I want to take through Unit 6 in religious studies, justice and peace. Justice and peace, most of the time we do hear that when you want peace, you prepare a battle. But once Jesus said, happy are the peacemakers, so happy are the peacemakers. Justice and peace just is two basic concepts that we should bear in our mind. In this Unit 6, we are going to talk the foundational terms students must understand. We shall talk justice, peace, human dignity, equality, rights, responsibility. Justice, as we know, we have been hearing people talking about justice, is fairness in actions, decisions, and treatment of others. Peace is a state of harmony, absence of conflict, and respect for human dignity. Human dignity is the inherent worth of every person. That value God has implanted in you. Equality, treating all people fairly, regardless of differences. Either you are white or black, whoever, but treat you equally, treat you fairness, regardless of your dignity, your color, your wealthy, even your academic background. Rights, there are freedoms and entitlements every human being deserves. The rights each person deserves. For example, the rights for education, rights for religion, rights for and so on. Responsibilities, duties individuals have towards other and society. My responsibility as a student is to study and bring good result. Then I present to my parents who has paid my school fees as my responsibility. So their responsibility to pay school fees for me, then I study. We also talk about social justice. The social justice is a fair distribution of resources and opportunities. These are the types of justice. Then you have a distributive justice, sharing wealth and goods fairly. Restorative justice, repairing harm and restoring relationships. Retributive justice, punishment for wrongdoing. We find people, you do this, they guard this. You cheat, a guard you repeat. Legal justice and justice according to laws. These laws are just enacted by high authorities. Like in Rwanda, you have legal justice that parliaments enact. We can talk also peace-related concepts. Whenever we talk peace, we have to understand other concepts that are related to peace. For example, we may talk deepen understanding of peace. We always talk about inner peace. That's inner within me, in my heart, personal calm and spiritual harmony. Sometimes you may be in doubts, worries, fears, and so on, even distraction, tiredness. You don't have inner peace because there is no calm within you as individual human being. Also, we talk about social peace, peace within a community. When you are in a certain community, there is a security, there is water, electricity, everything. You can see the social peace. Let us take an example now. In a Republic Democratic of Congo, there is a war. There is fights between government and rebellions. There is no peace. There is no social peace because people are displaced. There they don't have social peace. But social peace in a community, a certain community, is where the people, everything is at calm, everything is at the right place. We talk about conflict between people or even animals, disagreement or struggle between individuals or groups. You can find people or a group of people, they have a conflict because they have something they don't agree each other. We talk about reconciliation. It is restoring broken relationships. As human being, I may make a mistake, but what steps do I take to reconcile with my brothers, with my sister, so that we build that harmony, peace? We talk about forgiveness, letting go of resentment. This is the hardest journey each human being should walk. Forgiveness, to forgive. Even Jesus, Peter asked Jesus, how many can I forgive my brother or my brethren who has offended me? Jesus told him 77. That there is countless, because the number 7 says countless. What can cause of injustice and conflict? Because these are the enemies of peace. They are the injustice and conflict. First of all, there are various causes that can cause injustice between people, can cause injustice between even animals, even can cause conflict between a certain group, or two people can have deep conflict. The number one is poverty. Sometimes poverty can be the cause of injustice. We find people, they want to accumulate the whole wealth. They want to accumulate everything. They see a notebook, want to pick. They see telephone, want to pick. They see everything, they want to pick. Because there is no sense of humanity. Everybody wants to accumulate. That poverty, you find people want to take what belongs to this person, go with it. Because even having this glutton. Discrimination. Separating people. You give something to people, others you deny them. Also this can cause, because of injustice and conflict. Corruption. You go to ask a service. It is your right to get this service, because people, they want to accumulate, they want to deny others' rights. They make what you call just injustice. If you are wrong, they make you to be the truthful person, and you are not innocent. The innocent one, they don't want to blame him. That is also the cause of injustice and conflict. We talk about greed. People, they want to eat, or even to acquire, to consume more than others. Tribalism. Tribalism or ethnocentrism is this kind of people say this tribe should do this, others should do this. No. As a human being, even Jesus has said, treat people equal and equal. Even Father Champagne once said, when you want to teach a child very well, you must love them and love them equal, without just separating them, without bringing the issue of tribalism. Just you treat people according to their tribes. According to their tribes. No, you treat them as a human being, because either you are a Greek or you are Jews, whatever you are, but you have the right to be treated. These are the cause of injustice and conflict. Ignorance. Sometimes you ignore people, the needs of people. You ignore what people that they need. Just you don't feel others. You don't put in their shoes. Inequality. Or also don't share what people should share equally. If it is half and half, give it a half. Don't you want to give a card? Others you give 3 cards. No, it's just you put things, you share to them. These are just 7 causes of injustice and conflict. So you can get even more others. Ways to promote justice and peace. In promoting justice and peace, we should focus on practical applications such as dialogue. Dialogue is the key fact that can promote justice and peace. That's even Pope Francis once said, there are three key words for a family: praise, sorry, thank you. It is dialogue. It is where one opens up to share what burdens him or her to others. It is open and respectful communication. You respect others. Another one also going way to promote justice and peace is meditation, helping conflicting parties reach agreement. You become a mediator. In middle A and B, you go in the middle. You try to listen, to be attentive to both parties. Then you come at the census, you come together, then take a decision. We also talk about advocacy, supporting justice for others. There are people who are voiceless, who are not able to talk on their behalf, just to become the voice of the voiceless. That's called advocacy, supporting justice for others. Rule of law, following established laws. Some people may be given or even favored without following the rules and regulations. Terms and conditions should be applied equally. Solidarity, unity, and mutual support. You're also feeling in others painful, feeling in others suffering. How do I suffer? If I'm the one who's suffering the part or in the behalf of this person, how do I feel? Or also you put that empathy to them. Services, helping others in need. Or also we need to support the most neglected, the most in need in one way or the others. If a person is sick, if a person is vulnerable, just you give a service to him or to her. Accountability is being responsible for actions. Everybody become responsible to what is doing. I know whatever I'm doing, does it have importance in itself? Does it have importance for others? Does it have importance for me? That is the time of being accountability. Religious or Christian perspective, when we talk justice and peace, also even Jesus, as you know, is the vital figure in Christianity, in Christian life, in Christian community. Even once I said, peacemakers are blessed. Blessed are the peacemakers. That is peacemakers, those who promote peace. There are people who are stubborn. Wherever they are in a certain group, you feel really this person is here. You start feeling it. But here what we talk is about just being the peacemaker. Just being the solution finder instead of problem maker or troublemaker. Love or charity. Just caring for others selflessly. You care others. You give yourself to others. There's some people who are giving themselves to others so that others may benefit from it. That's also, as Christians, we are called to give ourselves to others. Mercy, compassion and forgiveness. If someone does wrong, approach him, tell him, should do this, never do that again. That is what you call mercy. Golden rule. Golden rule is to treat others as you would wish to be treated. If you want that should not be stolen a certain kind of materials, why can you steal it from other person? Here you should treat yourself as you treat others as you wish them to treat you. Justice of God. God as fair and righteous. If we are Christians, we are called Christians because we follow Christ. And Christ, you can see, as a human in divine and in nature, who gave himself to promote peace, to promote justice. Where he came, he said, both children, women, and men should be treated equally. Either widow or a couple should be treated equally, because all of us, we are created in the likeness and image of God. Relationship between peace, law, and justice. These three keywords, they have a relation. You can't talk peace without talking law. can't talk justice without talk law and peace. Because when there is no peace, law and justice involving. When there is no justice, laws involving. When there is no laws and no justice, there is no peace. Laws are a set of rules that are made to ensure that the community functions effectively. The main aim of all laws is to protect people. That's the first thing, is to protect the people. Even their properties, their health, even their security. The laws are there just to protect us, our properties, our health, and even giving us security or provide us security. If there were no laws or rules, our society would break down. Laws sometimes restrict our freedom and may be irritative. People need to know acceptable and non-acceptable behaviors as a society, because there is laws, there is do's and don'ts. Do's and don'ts, what you should do and what you should not do. In Christian life, they said you should not kill. It's an example. You should not cheat. It is an example. Then that means that those laws, they give us what to do, the behaviors to demonstrate, the behaviors to show others. The law, according to Muslim faith and as interpreted from the Quran, Islamic law is controlled, ruled and regulated by the Islam religion. It is a theocracy. It's just originated from God. Islamic law purports to regulate all public and private behavior, including personal hygiene, diet, sexual conduct, and child rearing. Islamic law represents one of the oldest great legal systems, like Judaic law, which influenced Western legal systems. Islamic law originated as an important part of the religion, Sharia, an Arabic word meaning the right path. Inzira iboneye yo kugenda refers to traditional Islamic law. Laws are important in a democratic nation. A country that is following the law or regulations, you will find a true democracy. Citizens is expected to obey the laws, fail to which they are punished. This is the consequence of destroying or disobeying the laws is to be punished. Law is a rule of conduct enacted by competent authority. These laws, they are enacted or established by the competent authority for the sake of the common good. For example, in Rwanda, we can talk about the parliament, either the MPs or senators, just are there to enact or to establish the laws that will govern the people of Rwanda for the common good. The moral law presupposes the rational order established among creatures for their good and to serve their final end. By the power, wisdom, and goodness of the Creator, all law finds its first and ultimate truth in the internal law. Law is declared and established by reason as participation in the providence of the living God, Creator and Redeemer of all. So, as I said, there is peace, there is law, there is justice. These three words, they have relationship. They have the similarities. One missing, other one, they suffer. Justice can be defined as administration of rightful dealings in a fair manner according to agreed standards. Where there is justice, there is peace and harmony among the people. Is that when there is a justice, you will find peace and harmony among the people in a certain community. Lack of justice brings chaos and mistrust. When there is no justice in a certain country, people, they treat you as they wish. It become like chaos, things which are uncontrollable, things where everyone can do his or her wishes. But when there is justice, just provides what belongs to each human. Justice also allows for all people in a country to receive fair treatment. For from the authority, regardless of their social status. According to Islam, justice is a central theme in the Quran, dictating the traditions of law and how should put into practice. There are two ways in which justice operates, in a legal sense and in a divine sense. Regarding justice in the legal sense, the Quran tells Muslims not only how to conduct themselves, but is also highly important regarding relationships with other people. It states what the various punishments for certain crimes should be along with the justification behind this reasoning. Furthermore, the Quran brings across the idea that anyone who propagates the message of justice and acts accordingly will be justly rewarded with their praise in Jannah. Social justice can be obtained only in respecting the transcendent dignity of a man. The person represents the ultimate end of society, which is ordered to him. What is at stake is the dignity of the human person, whose defense and promotion have been entrusted to us by the Creator, and to whom the men and women at every moment of history are strictly and responsibly in debt. Peace is also something we have to grasp in our daily life. Even in the state of a human being, feel that you have inner peace. That is that harmony, that state as a human being, you feel comfortable. In French, you call it être soulagé. Feel really you are quiet, in tranquility, and in harmony with yourself. Peace is respect for and development of human life require peace. Peace is not merely the absence of war, and it is not limited to maintaining a balance of powers between adversaries. Peace cannot be attained on earth without safeguarding the goods of persons, free communication among men, respect for the dignity of persons and peoples, and the assiduous practice of fraternity. Peace is the tranquility of order. Peace is the work of justice and the effect of charity. Without peace, the destructive tendencies of our species will continue to inch us closer to catastrophe. Justice and peace education is education that cultivates awareness, concern, and behaviors that lead to just and peaceful conditions, structures, and relationships. The Arabic word salam, which means peace, originates from the same roots as the word Islam. The ideal society, according to the Quran, is Dar Salam, literally the house of peace. So we know this is the city of Dar es Salaam in Tanzania. Simply or literally translated is the house of peace, of which it turns and Allah invites to the abode of peace and guides whom He pleases into the light path. Then law, peace, and justice are essential for preservation of human and protection of people. It is a way of thinking and acting which promotes non-violent solutions to everyday problems and thereby contributes to a civil society. Conditions for sustainable peace. If we want a peace to be sustainable or to be lasting, there is what we should do to maintain that peace, to safeguard that peace. As you have seen the countries, they do the best they can to safeguard their populations, to maintain the peace. That's why sometimes we hear that there is some peacemakers, peacekeepers, like armies goes to other countries, they call them peacekeepers, because they are there to maintain and to sustain the peace within a community of people, a certain community. We talk about the sustaining peace as emphasize the important role of men, women, young people, and civil society. The sustainability of peace depends directly on the consistency of women's engagement in peace process, politics, governance, institution building, rule of law, the security sector, and economic recovery. To sustain both peace and sustainable development, women must be equal and strategical leaders, drivers, and engineers in various areas and at different decision-making level. So, if we want the peace also to be lasting peace, we have to involve everybody. Either you are a man, you are a woman, or even you are a child, should be involved to sustain that peace. Because when the child doesn't have peace, mother and father doesn't have also peace. We usually see when a baby is sick, the mother and the fathers are worried, are wondering what's next. The Peace and Security Initiative consists of three elements as follows. When we talk peace and security initiative, we talk promoting long-term conditions for development and security. Long-term conditions for ensuring peace and security requires policy measures to address the political and social vulnerabilities on which conflict is premised. Justice practiced in any area when all people are treated in the same way, without any discrimination. It is also seen in administration of punishment. Justice is a state of being right and fair, as already explained earlier. In the Old Testament, with the intention of restoring justice, God punished the Israelites when they failed to keep the social demand of the law. God used punishment to purify the nation of Israel. So, if you want that peace, justice to love, is when a person does wrong, we first have even to show. The law says this. So you get your justice. If you steal someone, the law says someone who steals should be put into jail, then pays what he damaged or destroyed. That's the one who lost the properties. He will receive the peace because he will be able to be punished as the offender. We did take an example in the Holy Bible. King David was condemned by Prophet Nathan for abusing his office and practicing injustice. The king unjustly took Bathsheba for himself and arranged to have her husband Uriah killed at the front line of the battle. He had committed the double crime of adultery and murder. As you can see, King David is a good example that how Nathan, Prophet Nathan, was just condemning him. Say that this King David killed his brother Uriah to get his wife, where you can see committed two great sins. Just number one is adultery, number two is murder. Murdered, even slept with the wife of Uriah. King Solomon demonstrated his belief in justice when he made a wise ruling involving two women who were arguing over the ownership of a child. In the First King, chapter 3, verse 16-20. So there is two women were fighting for a baby. One was a barren actually. So the barren woman was saying, "This baby is mine." The mother of the baby said, "This baby is mine." So it was taken to look the justice for each one. The woman who was a barren said, "What can I do? The child is mine." The mother who gave the baby says, "Oh, the child is mine." At the end, the king asked, "What can we do?" The barren woman said, "Let us just cut into two parts this baby. The goes with one part, the goes with one part." The king discovered the mother who said it is not the mother of the baby. That's it, ngurusha nyina w'umwana imbabazi abashaka kumurya. Then the mother of the baby said, Instead of killing my baby, give it to her. So the king decided very well to give whom the child belongs to. Respect for the human person entails respect for the rights that flows from his dignity as a creature. These rights are prior to society and must be recognized by it. They are the basis for the moral legitimacy of every authority. By flaunting them or refusing to recognize them in its positive registrations, a society undermines its own moral legitimacy. If it does not respect the authority, can rely only on force or violence to obtain obedience from its subjects. We shall also talk human dignity, rights, and freedom. But allow me today, we stop here. Then tomorrow we shall take the second part, and to assure you that this content you will get in your coming test. So read, revise, act accordingly. So I continue to wish you a fruitful Easter, happy Easter. We are Easter people. Hallelujah is our song. See you next time.